Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today the topic that which we are going to study, that is Unit 13 poem, and it is Osmandius, written by Percy Bysshe Shelley. So first of all, students, let me give you a very short intro about the poem. That it is a sonnet. And what is sonnet? Sonnet is a poem based on two stanzas having 14 lines. Osmandius' poem was published in 1818, and the main idea that the poet wants to convey us, that is about the human nature, and the message that he wants to give us is this: that the pride of the human being, having a very short life, it cannot be exist, or it cannot live for a long time or forever. So this poem also focuses on the fact that nobody can beat time. Like the next point that which he is talking about the importance of the time, that in a human being, every human being have a very limited time. We are sent on this earth for a very short time, for not unlimited time, for a limited time. But what's happened with the human nature, that once they become very powerful, so we just forget the importance of the time, that in this limited time, what are the basic and essential things that we need to fulfill, and we need to complete it before our death. But this is what the human nature he is talking about, that rulers forgot this fact and consider themselves mighty and eternal. Like some of the rulers, not everyone, definitely he's talking about those people, who's talking about those rulers who does not just think about their end time, about the life, about the end of their life, and this is what they hold their authority, having pride, or they are too much proud of their position. Students, if we just talk about the context of this poem, so it is very beautifully linked to pride and wrecked reality of the life within event. This is what I already told you, that the main thing that the poet wants to tell us is this: that it's a human nature, that whenever they become powerful, whenever they become very strong, whenever they get the authority, so there are some evil things which naturally get linked with them. Like for example, just some of the human nature is this, that they become very proud, they become very merciless, and they become cruel as well. So what they do, that they enjoy the luxuries, they enjoy the blessings, they enjoy each and everything, whatever they want, they get that thing easily, but they forget their end. So the poet has conveyed the idea that the feelings of superiority in a man are only self-deception, and the reality is death. If we just talk about the reality, if we talk about the facts of our life, so some of the human beings, they just forget about the important thing, that yes, a day will come that we will die, a day will come that we will have our empty hands, but they forget about the reality. Now students, let me give the very short summary of the first two stanzas, and then after that we will discuss and I will explain each and every line in detail. In the first stanza, the poet, he is talking about a traveler, that he meets a traveler from an antique land. Antique land means, in this poem they are talking about the old Egypt, the ancient land of the Egypt. And in the poem, like as first Osmandius, the very title, which means Osmandius, actually it's a Greek name which is used for the Egyptian pharaoh. Pharaoh means a ruler, okay? Ruler. And Ramesses II definitely, like Ramesses I, Ramesses II, Ramesses III, 1, 2, 3, it's a kind of the name of the generation of the noble families. So this is what he is talking about, the ancient land of the Egypt. And Osmandius, already आपको बता दिया है कि the Osmandius title means, it's a Greek name which stands for the Egyptian ruler. So here antique land refers to old Egypt. Then the traveler tells the poet that he just saw a trunkless body in the desert. He's talking about the statue. Okay, I saw the statue in the desert, but it is just standing with its two legs, and the upper part of the body is just scattered into pieces near the legs, or wo bhi half buried in the sand, like the face is not visible clearly. Lekin students, here the question raises that the traveler, that to the poet, he's talking about that sculpture, he's talking about that statue. So about what person, like what that statue was about, actually he's talking about अबाउट दैट ऑस्मेंडियस किंग, जो कि अपने वक्त में बादशाह था, अपने आप को बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग कंसिडर करता था, बहुत क्रूअल था, बहुत जालिम था. बट नाउ अ डे केम दैट ही इज़ नॉट लिविंग ऑन दिस अर्थ, ही इज़ नो मोर अलाइव. इवन उसके जाने के बाद जो स्टैचू रह गया है, सो द कंडीशन ऑफ दैट स्टैचू इज़ इवन वेरी हॉरेबल and very miserable. So according to him, there were two big vast legs of stone standing in the desert without the upper body. Without upper body मतलब उस ऑस्मेंडियस की किंग जो अपनी बॉडी का ऊपर वाला हिस्सा था तो वो नहीं था, नज़र नहीं आ रहा था, बल्कि वो नीचे ज़मीन पे पीसेस में बिखरा हुआ था. Near the legs was a broken head or face visage of the sculpture which was half buried in the sand. And even the traveler जो he's talking about the face of that statue, he's talking about the face of that king Osmandius, that even it was buried, half buried in the sand, and even it was not clearly visible. Then furthermore, what he's talking about, the traveler now describes the appearance of the face. Then he's talking to the poet that the face of that statue of the king was like this, that it had a frown and the wrinkled lips on his face indicating displeasure and anger respectively. Actually in these lines, the traveler, he is talking about the creator, or he's talking about that sculptor who has just designed that statue जिसने भी वो स्टैचू बनाया है. So he has beautifully draw the very wrinkled lips, the frown on his face. और उस स्टेचू को उसने स्कल्पचर ने ऐसा बनाया है जैसे कि whatever the qualities were having, whatever the behavior or the attitude or the ego like things were having in the king, so all these things were clearly appearing on the face of that statue. Then furthermore, like the sneer of the cold command is the next expression of the sculpture described in the poem. And sneer, students, you can see just in the first stanza that the sneer of cold command. What do you mean by the sneer of cold command? Sneer means disgust and cold commands means describing the harsh comments given by the ruler. The way the sculptor had made the hand of that statue, it was like this, that he is giving a very harsh comments, and he is very giving a very cruel commands to the people, like he just consider himself superior among everyone. So thus collectively sneer of cold command refers to the uncaring attitude. Now all these things that he's talking about the statue, actually students, let me add the main important thing that yes, no doubt he is talking about the king Osmandius, but actually whatever the poet he's talking about, all these things, actually he's talking about me, he's talking about you, he is talking about every human being, that what kind of human being we are having when they get power, when they become authoritative, when they become फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रॉन्ग, सो देन हाउ दे बिकम द ईवल माइंडेड. तो फिर उनमें क्या क्या क्वालिटीज़ तो नहीं, क्या क्या चीज़ें आ जाती हैं, लाइक दे बिकम हैविंग द वेरी अनकेयरिंग एटीट्यूड, ईगो, हार्शनेस इज द मोस्ट डोमिनेंट थिंग फाउंड इन सच काइंड ऑफ पर्सनैलिटीज, हॉटीनेस ऑफ द रूलर. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू ऑल द अबव expressions, he is thought to be very revengeful, boastful and full of ego, who consider himself to be the superior of all. This is what he is talking about that statue. He is talking about the statue of that king, कि वो कितने हद तक रिवेंजफुल था, बूस्टफुल था, right, and full of ego. Full of ego, whenever we talk about ego, whenever we talk about revengeful, so students, all these are negative things like this, due to which it make us, and it gives us such kind of feeling that yes, I am superior to all, मैं सबसे ज़्यादा बड़ा हूँ, मुझे कोई कुछ नहीं कह सकता क्योंकि मैं powerful हूँ, मैं strong हूँ. So all these points that the poet wants to discuss is. Now student, the main point in the second stanza is these words are engraved on the pedestal बॉटम ऑफ द स्कल्पचर. अब जो स्कल्पचर था, जो स्टेचू था, और उसके बेस के नीचे, पाँव के नीचे जो पेडिस्टल था, उस पे कुछ वर्ड्स कोटेड स्टैम्प थे. वो वर्ड्स क्या थे? माई नेम इज ऑस्मेंडियस, King of kings, look on my works, ye mighty and despair. Now students, in the parenthesis, in the brackets, you can see the meaning of all those words. उस king के जो अपने अल्फाज थे वो भी स्टेचू के साथ लिखे हुए थे कि my name is Osmandius means king of kings, मैं बादशाहों का भी बादशाह हूँ. मतलब this is a kind of pride, and this is a kind of his proudy statements. Look on my works, achievements in war and expanding his empire. No doubt that he achieved अचीव्ड समथिंग वेरी ग्रेट इन द वॉर, जिसकी वजह से इसकी जो एम्पायर, इसकी जो हुकूमत थी काफ़ी हद तक एक्सपेंड हो गई थी। और जब इसको सक्सेस मिल गया था और इसको बहुत ज़्यादा इसके एम्पायर हर जगह पे बढ़ गई थी, सो ड्यू टू दैट प्राउडनेस एंड ड्यू टू दैट हिज प्राउड ही बिकेम like evil minded person. Ye mighty means the mighty, and despair, fear from me. Fear from me, despair means he considered himself superior to everyone. So the words on the pedestal represent Ozymandias' nature very vividly. Like in simple words, students, the poet is talking about this. Like whenever we just like some of the people, some of the personality we are having in our life, in our society, in circle, that when they passed away, so there are something which are connected with to their personalities. कुछ चीज़ें रह जाती हैं which identify their personality, which define their personality. एक दिन आएगा हम नहीं रहेंगे, लेकिन जब हम नहीं रहेंगे, हमने जो कुछ भी किया होता है, हमने जो कुछ भी कहा होता है, वो हमेशा के लिए लोगों के दिलों में रह जाता है, वो लोगों के लिए एक एग्जाम्पल बन के रह जाता है। चाहे आप इफ़ यू डू समथिंग गुड, इफ़ यू डू बैड, so that will be remembered, which will never be forgot by the people forever. So that's why he was a powerful ruler and proud of his mighty, and he made all others bow before him. उसी पावर, उसी अथॉरिटी की वजह से what he want that everyone they should just bow before him. bow before him मतलब कि उसकी बस सजदा करे उसके सामने, जो बात वो कहे, चाहे वो क्रूअल हो, चाहे वो नेगेटिव हो, चाहे वो पॉजिटिव हो, बट whatever he say, so what he want that everyone should follow me. The meaning of themes of Percy by Shelley's poems Ozymandias are fairly straightforward and also highly traditional. Traditional means like this is something which is common throughout the world. Basically, the poem reminds powerful people that their power is only temporary. Yes, student, this is what I want to tell you, that the main thing in this poem is this, that everything, whatever we are having, if we are having status, if we are having respect, if we are financially strong, if we are having fame, everything, so that is temporary. What is permanent? Whatever we do, or acts, or words, or behavior, or nature, all these things remains with us even after our death. So that's why, however much powerful people may wish to think that their power is immortal, and they only deceiving themselves. Now students, let's move towards the explanation of the first stanza. I hope that you all are having books in front of you. So the explanation of the first stanza is this. This is what I already explained, but let's give you the review, a very short summary again. In the first stanza, the poet tells that he met a traveler from an old and deserted land, and the traveler told him that he saw two big legs standing in the desert, and the two huge legs, which were made up of stone, were standing without the upper part of the body, and the other part of the statue lay nearby. The arms and the face were broken, and it was in a miserable condition. This is a criticism on those people who consider themselves superior and who just consider themselves that yes, I am having everything. So that's why the even that king, जो अपने आप को बहुत बड़ा बादशाह समझता था, even उसके मरने के बाद जो उसका स्टेचू भी था, तो वो भी निहायत मिजरेबल कंडीशन में पड़ा हुआ था. It was half sunk into the sand and the dust covered the body, yet the signs of displeasure and expressions of ruthlessness and pride could be noticed on the face of the sculpture. The poet says that the skillful hands of the sculptor had left the accurate expression of the man into his sculptor. Now he is praising the creation of that sculptor, जिसने ये statue बनाया है, कि इतना perfectly इसको design किया है कि that statue was itself having its own personality. वो statue जो था वो अपने बारे में खुद ही define कर रहा था. उसके face expressions, उसके जो नीचे stem words थे, the way it was standing with a half body, the way it was standing with a half body scattered into pieces in the desert. So all these things was clearly giving us the definition of the cruelty about that king. The expression of aggression, power and pride was even obvious on the lifeless body of the king. This is what I explained. So the obvious on the lifeless body of the king, the poet has tried to explain that immortality has a permanent impression on our body as well as on our soul. So it cannot be erased even we pass away. हम अगर दुनिया से चले भी जाएं, लेकिन हमारे जो एक्ट्स हैं, हमारे जो एक्शंस हैं, हमारे जो वर्ड्स हैं, it will remain there forever. हमारी बॉडी ख़त्म हो जाएगी, वैनिश हो जाएगी, सब कुछ ख़त्म हो जाएगा, लेकिन स्टूडेंट्स योर बिहेवियर, योर एटीट्यूड, दैट विल बी रिमेंबर्ड बाय एवरीवन forever. Now the stanza 2, let's move towards the explanation of the second stanza. The poet has described that we can call the message of the poem as the traveler continues to describe what he saw in the desert. He says that there were some text written on the base of the statue. The main thing in this second stanza is कि उस statue के नीचे जो पाँव के साथ जो word stamp थे वो क्या थे. These are the main words जो अभी मैंने आपको इससे पहले भी डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन किया, but let me explain it again. My name is Osmandius, ये उसी किंग के वर्ड्स हैं. My name is Osmandius, king of kings, look upon my works. He's talking about his achievements. Ye mighty and despair fear from me that I am the one. You all should follow me, you should bow in front of me, whatever I will say. So this in this sense he was very proud of his position, he was very proud of his status in the country, so that's why he considered himself superior. The text tells that the name of the king was Osmandius and he was the most powerful king. He ordered the kings to see his statue and feel belittled, but the tragedy is that now nothing remains except a lifeless statue of the king. So the huge statue itself tells about the glory of the king, but now this huge and splendid statue has fallen the victim of nature. Like students, in this stanza you can also say that the main point is this, that the poet, what he is talking about, that even no doubt jitna bhi आप स्ट्रांग हो जाए, सपोज यू आर हैविंग अ वेरी पावरफुल आर्मी, यू आर हैविंग अ वेरी पावरफुल पब्लिक, you are having weapons, you are having warriors, you are having every facility which can protect you, but once a nature hit you, so nothing can save you from the death. In the nature, if you talk about earthquake, if you talk about the floods, if you talk about the terrible storms, तो ये ऐसी कुदरती आफात हैं कि जिससे आपके साथ सारी फैसिलिटी होते हुए भी you cannot save yourself, you cannot protect yourself from the natural disaster. लेकिन इसको, this is what the statue they are talking about, that in the end he just became the statue has fallen the victim of the nature. किसी ने उसको नहीं किया, किसी ने उसको ख़राब नहीं किया. They are just talking about the nature, that nature was responsible for its destruction. The broken pieces of the statue are being vanished in the sand. The sand is stretching far away and the statue of the king Osmandius is getting a thick layer of sand on it. It cannot be seen anywhere. इवन वो जो एक स्टेचू था, किंग था, जो अपने आप को कुछ समझता था, जिसने अपनी एक पोजीशन बनाई हुई थी पूरी दुनिया में, उसके मरने के बाद इवन दैट स्टैचू वाज इन अ वेरी हॉरिबल कंडीशन एंड इवन इट वाज नॉट हैविंग इट्स फुल लुक अपीयरेंस. इट वाज ब्रोकन इनटू पीसेस, और इवन द हेड एंड द अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ द बॉडी दैट वाज हाफ buried in the sand, having a very thick layer of the sand, and nothing was visible, nothing was appearing clearly that which kind of person or which kind of king Osmandius he was, जबकि उसके पास सब कुछ था, but that was useless. Now students, again these all are the important points that we have already discussed. So hope that today's lecture is clear to you. If you have any kind of confusion or question, you may ask me or you can just inbox me. Students, what you have to do that in your English NEET registers, you have to write the question answers of this poem in your own words, and kindly do your work on time. This is your assignment. You can take help from internet source, you can take help from the book as well. Otherwise it would be more better if you just attempt all the question answers in your own words. So hope that today's lecture is clear to you, and till next lecture, take care and Allah Hafiz.